What's up, guys? I'm Taylor.
And I'm Grant.
We're Ride Outdoors.
And today we're going to go over what to look for when you're buying your first fishing kayak.
So in today's video, we're going to go over the top 5 things that we look for when we purchase a fishing kayak.
And you know, between the both of us, we have almost 30 years experience in the kayak world. And we fished out of almost every single major brand of kayaks.
So let's start with number 1. And I think for most everyone, this is probably the biggest decision when it comes to purchasing a fishing kayak is pedal drive versus paddling. And I think it's probably the hardest decision out of all of them.
And it's a big world, you know, because when you started kayak fishing, you're paddling. That was your traditional way of doing it. And now they've evolved so much in the world of in the kayak industry that you have paddle, you have pedal, you have trolling motor. So you have all these options to get you on the water, but choosing one of those can probably be one of the hardest things to do.
And I think definitely it's situational, right? And what style of fishing you do. So
yeah, if you're freshwater, saltwater, are you in the marshes, you're in creeks and streams up north. I mean, it boils down to location and what type of fishing you're doing.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, if you're shallow water fishing like we do a lot down here in South Louisiana of chasing redfish in the marsh, we own pedal kayaks, but we also sometimes it's hard to use the pedal kayaks in the shallow water.
Sometimes you got to yank those pedals out and really get up shallow and paddle. I mean, at the end of the day, you have pedal drive kayak and you think you're good, but we always have the paddle with us because you know your pedal drives can fail.
Yep.
You can get real shallow. You can get hung up on something. So sometimes you got to yank that pedal drive out and really get down and paddle back to the traditional way of kayak fishing.
So on that, I think too is that's one of the things that makes that decision for you is the pedals can fail, and they will fail. But not only that, some kayaks are very difficult to paddle once you take the pedal drive out. Yeah. So a lot of people, I feel like, lean into that, oh, well, if I need to paddle, I can pull the pedal drive out, use my paddle. But I've been in several different Hobies that are very difficult to paddle by themselves without the pedal drive in.
Absolutely. Like your pro anglers, your bigger Hobie, really great kayak, super stable. You know, it hits all the check boxes. But once you take those pedals out and you have to get down a pedal, it's so wide and so heavy to paddle. Yep. I mean, it makes it difficult. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind when looking, you know, for your pedal versus paddle.
So I think I would start by looking at where you fish. Do you fish deeper water consistently? Is it clean water? Because, you know, even if you're fishing in deeper water that's grassy or full of sticks, logs, trees, the pedals can get hung up and all of that stuff. So first thing I would do is look at where you fish 90% of the time. And if you're in a lot of open water, big water, pedals are probably the better way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're not trash talking the pedals here because, again, like he said, we both own pedal kayaks. But it's for those situations because we both have paddle kayaks as well. You know? So it really, like he said, boils down to where you're fishing. If you're fishing that more open water, you know, and you want the hands-free of a pedal drive, go for pedal drive. But if you're getting into the shallow water sometimes, you may have to take a look and find that right pedal kayak if you do want the pedal kayak for paddling and pedaling.
Yeah. No, I think, for example, the Lightning Kayak Nomad that we have, it actually handles really well when you take the pedal drive out and you paddle it.
Yeah, we got into those, a couple months back, late last year. We finally got our hands on them. We got them out on the water. The pedal drive's awesome. The steering is great. And even when you take those pedals out, it tracks pretty straight. It's easy to paddle. It's easy to turn, you know. So if you find one like that gives you the best of both worlds, that's really what you want to look for if you want to go the pedal route.
Yeah. So really just base it on where you fish, how you fish, shallow or deep water, and go from there.
So the second thing we look for when we're going out to purchase a kayak for us is going to be stability. Stability is one of the major components of a good fishing kayak. That way you don't tip over, you're able to stand, and if you're anything like us, we love to stand up and fish. It gives you a better point of view. You know, you can see everything better. You can sit down, you can still fish while sitting down, but you know that standing up gives you that different ability out there.
Yeah, I feel like, standing for me is 90% of what I look for in a kayak. I want to be able to stand and fish. And bass fishermen, I'm sure, can relate. Fishing beds, you can stand up, you can see the beds better.
You can flip and pitch a lot easier.
You flip and pitch a lot easier in heavy cover. And we sight fish, redfish a lot, and we have to have kayaks that we can stand in. So stability is a huge argument in kayaks, and I think a lot of people don't think of it as much, even though it would seem obvious. But there are a lot of kayaks that can be very deceiving.
They look very stable.
They look stable, but they're not.
But they're not that stable.
Yeah.
And the stability, you may think of it as just standing up and fishing and being able to sit down and fishing, but really, when you think of stability, you have to also think of, all right, I got tackle behind me, I've got an ice chest behind me, I've got stuff up front of the kayak. You don't want a kayak that's super tippy so that when you reach around to the back, you're tipping over. And we store a lot of our baits right behind us, especially if we're keeping fish that day. We have a cooler right behind us, and our baits are up at the front of the boat. Yep. So you have all of these different points where you have to reach on the kayak. Or if you film like we do, you have different camera mounts that you want to move to a different scene. You want to look in front of you. You want to look back behind you. You want to look above you. But you want that ability. You don't want to have to go to a marsh island, get out in the water, adjust that camera point. Or, especially when you're netting a fish, that has a lot to come with stability, man.
I think that as far as stability goes, we have it easy nowadays, because instead of having to go try, 20 different kayaks to see what's super stable and what you like, right? We have YouTube. And I can tell
videos
you,
like these.
You can pull up videos of any brand kayak, and I guarantee you someone has a stability test video online. That's probably one of the best ways, I think, nowadays, to just go and check them out to see how stable they are.
You do. You have those videos, or you find your local kayak dealer and you go to a demo day. Don't be afraid to get into 10, 15, 20 different kayaks throughout the day and really make a day of it, because unlike a boat, you pay for a boat along the way, you pay for gas and everything. You're making this one first purchase. You make one big purchase.
Yep.
You got to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get mad if you cheap out, and then you see all these other guys doing standing up and doing dang near backflips in their kayaks, and you're tipping out every time you look for a pack of baits in the back.
Yeah. So guys, eyes on the prize. Stability, probably one of the most important things when you're looking for your first fishing kayak. Number 3, I think, plays right along with stability, is the dimensions of the kayak. So we're talking width and length of the kayak. Also, this factors right into speed of a kayak.
Yep.
So when you're looking at shorter kayaks, obviously they're going to be very fast kayaks because they're lighter weight, they're shorter, less drag on the water.
It's like your speed and your maneuverability of a kayak.
Correct.
In general.
And I think, for me, I like somewhere in the middle. Like, I have my new canoe that's really long. It's 13.5 feet.
Yeah,
But it's also a little bit narrower than most of the other new canoes, so it is a little bit faster. It's probably one of their faster kayaks.
Yeah, the Pursuit is.
But, I think everybody kind of goes for that same range of like 12 foot to 12.5 foot.
Yeah, your baseline that you should really be looking for, unless you're getting into really small areas, my recommendation that I tell everyone who asks me about kayak fishing is don't 11.7 at the least.
Yeah.
They have some 11.7 kayaks. I had, like, my Crescent kayak that I had was an 11.7. Super fast, super easy to move around. You lose a little bit on stability side when you shorten it up a little bit. But I usually, if you can stay from that 11.7, 12 foot up, that is really your general good range of length wise.
Yeah, I think I would tell most people, start at the 12 foot range. I think that's an ideal size. You can get almost the best maneuverability, stability,
it's the best bang for your buck.
Yeah, definitely. I would start at 12 feet and go from there. If you're a bigger guy like we are, hey, you might need a little bit bigger kayak. I would say, man, if you're anything over like 6'2", 6'3", I might would start looking above 12 foot.
Yeah, you're that tall, and
you're top heavy.
You're top heavy.
Yeah.
You're gonna want that 13. Maybe pushing 14. You don't have to go that long. You can get a 12-foot kayak, but you'll have more space and stability, and out of that 13 foot, that 13.5 foot, like the new canoes are.
And I mean, you can always too if you want. If you still wanted like a 12-foot kayak, and maybe easier to throw on the roof of your car or in the bed of your truck, just look for a wider 12-foot kayak.
Yep.
So the wider you go, the more stable it is. Especially if you're a taller guy, you're a little bit more top heavy. So from side to side, a little bit wider 12-foot kayak will give you that extra stability if you're a lot taller.
So it was like my Kaku Zulu. It was 12.7, but it was super, super wide, so it had a lot of stability, for your taller guys, and
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of 12-foot kayaks that are way too narrow.
Yeah.
Sure. Jackson makes a few that is
on your more narrow
skinny,
side.
But they're
Ocean Kayaks.
Ocean Kayaks do the same thing.
Ocean Kayaks, and that's one of the brands that are you're teeter-tottering on your recreational paddle kayak, but Ocean Kayak also has your fishing kayaks, but they still try to cater more towards your open water, just recreational, just paddling. Which if you're doing that, a narrow kayak, you want more speed and everything. But when you're in the fishing world like we are, and you just want wider, you want more stability, and you just want more space overall. You definitely want more space.
I mean, you got to think, guys, you're going to be carrying around rods, reels, tackle, coolers, whatever else you might bring with you. So I'd always just keep in mind 12 foot's a good place to start. And if you're a bigger guy, just look for something a little bit wider, and you may have to go longer for that extra stability.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, so the next thing we really start to look for after you get your stability and your dimensions and your pedal versus paddle down is going to be your seating. That is, if I had to choose between your stability and your dimensions and everything, it's close tie to your seating. Because you're kayak fishing, so 50% of the time you're going to be sitting down, you're going to be paddling somewhere, you're going to be pedaling somewhere. You want a comfortable seat. So your normal typical fishing day is going to be longer than an hour. So you really want something that you're going to be comfortable in for sitting in that, in your sitting position for longer than, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long your fishing day lasts.
Yeah, I think, seating's probably one of the biggest. I mean, I say stability's big, but if I had to choose between stability and seating, I think seating is probably a little bit above.
I think I'd rather have a more comfortable seat than stability-wise.
I mean, like Grant said, I mean, you're going to be sitting all day. It depends on how long you like to fish, but y'all know us, we're 4, 5, 6 hours fishing, so...
And we're paddling, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles of paddling and pedaling and fishing, and you really want that comfort on that end of things. Yeah, sitting all day definitely can take a toll on you if you have a terrible seat. So always try to look for something with a tall back, some sort of cushion on it. Make sure it has some kind of structure to it. Structure
to the seats, man. I'm telling you, those little seats like you see in a lot of the Pelicans or like the cheap kayaks.
Like your Walmart style.
Yeah, those
where it's
seats,
just like a pad on the bottom and then you're strapped back.
It's terrible. Always, I think, looking for a comfortable seat is probably one of the biggest
absolutely.
In a new kayak. Because, man, you got to think about it, dude. If your back's hurting from your seat, you're
going
home. Yeah, you're going to the house.
You might fish and might stick it out for 30, 45 more minutes, but, once that really gets to kicking in, you're gone. You're like, all right, I'm over it. I'm back to the house.
Yeah, so I'm all, like he said, I'm looking for something with a sturdy frame seat, not just the soft padded strap seats. I'm looking for something with a taller back for your lumbar support, kind of like an office chair would be.
Yeah.
And something with some cushion.
Yeah, if you can find a kayak and even if you find a decently comfortable and you can get a little bit of a cushion that you can just throw on top, like on my Kaku, it had a great seat. It's a full metal frame, just like a normal chair. But after a while you used to be able to stand on the seat so that that cushion would really get in, and I used to throw a pad right up on top, and I'd be able to fish 10 hours easy. Yeah. No questions asked. I could. You got your hard back that you can lean up against when your back gets tired from hunched over or whatever, and you get comfortable cushion underneath you.
Yeah, so I would say seating's probably one of the top on the list, man. Really pay attention to the type of seats that are in these kayaks, and hey, if you gotta spend a little bit more money to have a nicer seat, trust me, it's going to be worth it.
Absolutely. All right, so the fifth and final thing that we really look for is your upgradability, your mounting options, and your storage, and we base all of that in one category because it's all about the same thing. You're looking for storage for your bags, your ice chest. You're also looking for your mounting for, rod holders, paddle holders, and different, anchor systems and stuff like that.
I think having the ability to upgrade, you may not think you need it now, but you will. Trust me, you're going to go out, you're going to bring the kayak fishing 5 or 6 times, and you're going to be like, man, I'm really missing this.
Yep.
I mean, we've got so many stupid attachments for our kayaks, so you want to look for, good rail mounting systems with a lot of rail mounting on the kayak.
I think that's one of the biggest things I would recommend looking for is a kayak that either has the ability and space to add your track mount rail mounts, or one that already has one on the kayak itself.
Yeah, built-in tracks I think are almost, it's hard not to get a kayak nowadays without them.
Absolutely. A lot of people are going to that.
Yeah, a lot of kayaks have the rail mounts built in, and there's a ton of accessories you can throw on there, guys. I mean, anything from anchors to cup holders to
camera mounts,
net mounts.
I mean, there's tons of different options to really, if you really want to accessorize your kayak,
Oh yeah. I mean, Railblazer itself has.
Yeah, Railblazer is the whole brand.
They have.
His whole brand is based around track mounts and everything like that, just to make, fishing a little bit easier, more tools that are accessible while out on the kayak. Because kayak fishing has grown so much since we started, at 13, 14 years old. To see how much it's progressed, it's crazy.
Oh, it's mind blowing.
Yep.
But also when you talk about storage, you can find kayaks with a lot of built-in storage, but also if you've got the space and the proper mounting hardware on the kayak, or the space for mounting hardware, you can always add storage.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Don't throw a kayak away because it doesn't have enough storage. If it has enough space for storage, more than likely you can add it in the future.
Yep.
And the longer you kayak fish, the more you'll figure out exactly what you want to put on the kayak. And believe me, if Railblazer or Yak Attack or Amazon doesn't have it, it just doesn't exist. Trust me, there's
millions of brands that we won't even name, because we could sit here for probably an hour naming all kinds of different kayak accessory brands, and there's plenty of options out there to really make the kayak your own and really accessorize it to the way you want. And there is a point where it's a little too much. You might need to dial it back down, but all those accessories really give you the ability to fine tune everything and figure out how you want to fish, because when it boils down, it's how you want to fish and how you feel comfortable fishing throughout the day. Yeah,
definitely. Guys, stick around at the end of the video. We're going to have some recommendations for you with varying price ranges. We'll probably do like 4 or 5 kayaks that we would recommend for, I don't know, what do you say, anything from $400 to $4,000.
Yeah, we'll go for your lower end budget if you're just looking to get into kayak fishing. You just want to try it out. A good one to go with, to hit all of those check boxes, but also stay on the more budget friendly side. And then we'll also touch on, the guy who just wants to ball out and kayak fishing is it, and that's it. Not having the boat anymore, and we're just kayak fishing. So that's more your, your $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 side of things.
Yeah. And guys, if you're enjoying the video, hit the subscribe button for us and like it. Let's get into some recommendations.
All right, so now we're going to get into it. We're going to give you 3 different categories of different budgets. We're going to do anywhere from $500 to $1,000, $1,000 to $2,000, and then a $2,000 to $4,000 range. We're going to give you probably 2 options in each category to really, let you see some of the options that are out there for those different budgets to see where you want to be. So now we're going to go over, your lower end, middle, and high end of your budgets. So, like the one you see right here, this is the Pelican Catch Mode 110 Fishing Kayak. So it's right around your $800 range. You got colors you can get it in. Then you come down here to your specs. You're going to be a 10'8", which is on your lower length side of things. But if you're really looking for that budget kayak, this is one of the ones that we would recommend. You're only at 63 pounds, so it's a real light kayak. You can throw it up on top of the truck, on top of a car, even if you needed to throw it on top of a car. And your weight capacity is still 375, which is really good. Moving on to a little bit higher end. Now this one is at the top end of the budget-friendly options at $10.99. But if you check with your local dealers, you can usually find these for around $1,000. Sometimes if it's a demo kayak, You can get it even a little bit lower. And if you're really looking for a budget kayak, I'd really recommend looking at your local dealers and checking out their demo options, their used kayaks that they've used on demo days. You know, it might be missing a few things that you can easily replace, but it's a really good option. But if you're looking for new, this is a really, really top of the line kayak for the price point. Is your New Canoe Flint. Comes in 3 different colors. Your length is 11.3, so it's not quite 12 foot, but with this kayak, you're at 33 inches of width, so it makes that stability really, really good. It's 11.3. The maneuverability is really good. It's a great all-around kayak for this price range for sure, and it comes with tons of options as you see here. And you can pause the video if you need to read through them, but this is one of the top that I would recommend on your lower end of the budget, especially if you could find it on your the used market. And even with these new canoes, you have the ability to throw a trolling motor on there if you were interested in that. All right, so moving on to your more of your middle range, you want to spend anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. We're gonna stick on the New Canoe train here, and that's gonna be the New Canoe Pursuit. We have a lot of experience in this boat right here. We still have 2 New Canoe Pursuits out back right now. These are the 2024 models. I don't remember what models we have, but they haven't really changed all that much.
Yeah, so I've fished out of a Pursuit for, almost 10 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's a fantastic fishing kayak.
So it comes, just like everything else, it comes in about 3 colors. You know, get down to the specs here. You're at 13.6. This is on your longer one like we were talking about earlier. You're at 35 inches of width. This kayak is probably, if it isn't the top, it is within the top 3 of the most stable kayaks I've ever fished out of. And again, you can pause and you can read all the stuff that it comes with. It comes with rod tubes and everything you need. It's got a full seafoam deck. You know, the seats on these are super comfortable. The New Canoe seats are great. This one you can also throw on a trolling motor, which you can get up to, or if you get real crazy, you can put an outboard on there up to a 2.5 horsepower motor, which you can see right here. Your weight capacity is 500 pounds. You can load this kayak down, and it's like it's not even on there. And the whole weight is only about 82 pounds dry with nothing on it, which for that size of a kayak with that kind of weight capacity, it's really light. It's on the lighter side of things.
Yeah, we handle it. I can handle it by myself.
Oh, absolutely.
Taking it in and out of the truck, so it's not super heavy.
And the seating says 1 person, but if you get another seat and you push it towards the front, you can definitely put, a kid in the front, or you can fish you and, the spouse. You can definitely fish 2 people out of this kayak, no problem. And that, that's around your... It's around your $1,600. That's $1,599. Again, check your local dealers. They may be running deals. You can buy them used. That's always an option when you're looking for kayaks. Man, I don't think I've only bought 2 new kayaks from an actual dealer. 2 or 3.
I think I've only ever bought 1.
Yeah. No, you bought 2.
Nope.
No. You're right.
The first New Canoe Pursuit I ever
was
bought
a demo kayak.
was a demo model.
Yep. And what'd you get that one for?
I think I bought it for like $800.
Yeah. So you can even find the Pursuits at under your $1,000 range if you really look at it right, and check your local listings for sure, because a lot of these guys, especially like us, they just want out of the kayak and they want in a new one.
That's right.
I mean, we've flipped them and sold them quick. Moving on to a little bit more expensive, and probably one of my more favorite kayaks that I've been in for the paddle side of things. And all these kayaks that we've been showing you are on your paddle side. We haven't stepped it up to the pedal. Those, they usually range a little bit more on the high side of your price range.
Definitely.
But this is by far one of my favorite paddle kayaks that I've ever fished out of. Stability, tracking, the whole nine. This is your Bonafide SS 127. You're running around $1,649. Again, you can find it for cheaper. Just look around. But this one is 12.7. Let's see. This one is 12.7. Your width's still around that 33 to 34 range. That's really your middle range where every kayak's going to be around your 33 to 35 inches for width.
Yeah.
Fully rigged at 94 pounds, and just your whole weight is still sitting around that 68, 69 pounds. Easily handled by one person. And this one's weight capacity is up there with the new Canoe Pursuit, and this one's only at 475. You get 25 pounds extra in your Pursuit, but you're really not going to notice that.
No.
And then this is all your information that it comes with. If you want to pause and read that, I'll leave it up here for a second. Now, stepping it up to your pedal drive in the middle range. Now, this is, again, towards the higher end of your middle range, your $1,000 and $2,000, but as we said, you can find it cheaper in other places. This is the Lightning Kayaks Strike HD. This is the slate. I think they come in
two or three
colors, I believe.
Yeah.
You're right at 12.6, 34 inches of width. Same thing for about, all of these kayaks around your middle range kayak. Your middle price range for your kayaks. The weight capacity is a little lower, but again, you're not really going to notice this when you're finally on the water. Your weight capacity is at 415, and your whole weight is a little bit heavier, but these are really well built, super thick plastic kayaks, and that's at 82 pounds. All right, now jumping up to your 2,000 to 4,000, this is where things get a little crazy. Prices go a little wild over here.
Look, pedal drive kayaks can get very expensive very quickly.
Like, for sure. And your Hobies are usually on your top end of things for the price ranges reaching into $4,000, $5,000. We're going to show you more of your easier obtainable pedal drive kayaks. So like we said, we fish out of these. We got these when they first released. These are the Lightning Kayaks Nomad. We both have the seafoam color. They come in 3 colorways. Again, you're looking around $21.99 for these. They're 12.3, 33 inches of width, 85 pounds, 92 fully rigged, with a 420-pound weight capacity. It's great kayaks. We've been fishing out of them for
3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months, and we've been loving them for sure. And then stepping on to the really crazy side of things, which that is everything Hobie. This is probably your higher end, but more of what we recommend if you want to get into that Hobie. This is the Mirage Outback. You're looking at $36.99. Again, you can find them cheaper. Just look on your local sites and everything like that. So jumping down to the specs, you're looking at 12.9, 34 inches of width, 425-pound capacity. Really, when you get above $1,000, your length and your width is really going to stay around your 12.3 to 13.5, and really your width stays 33 to 35. That's your middle range where the width is good for just about everything you need. So like we said, guys, these are all great kayaks. Again, these pedal kayaks are probably on your better side for being able to pull those pedals out, paddle them if you need to. You can stand in just about everything that we've shown you. This is what we would recommend. If you have any other questions, don't be afraid to ask. Put them in the comments. Like we said at the beginning of this video, we have tons and tons of knowledge on kayak fishing in the industry and fishing in general. So we're open to any questions. We'll answer anything you need. And if we can help you find a kayak, awesome. If we can get you out and fishing in a kayak, it's something we love to do, so we like to share that and give y'all the excitement that we experience every day that we fish. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Catch y'all next time.